Hey, here we are.
Man, what a day.
How wonderful to see you. Steve Covino, Rich Davis.
I love it.
I love it.
We're throwing it back on a Thursday. We love you. Hey, Sam, I know you were confused yesterday, but today's Thursday.
Okay,
There we go, Thursday.
So
thank you for confirming.
that means we go old school in 50
All right,
hits
okay,
today.
Today.
Yeah.
Got it.
We throw it back every Thursday. We get you involved, and it's going to be an action-packed show.
We have details today on our convention in Vegas, our big party.
That's
We'll give you
right.
some details, where, when, all that good stuff. And I know if you're on the East Coast and you're a Knicks fan, you want to forget about it, but we got to talk about last night.
Dude, hope you had a Pacer sort of night, not a New York Knicks sort of night. No way, Jose. I gave you a chance to win game one at home, and you blew it. Seriously, man.
And
138, 135. Got to talk about that to kick it off. But, again, lots going on today. We're going to talk Juan Soto again, mommy and daddy makeovers, because we didn't have time for that yesterday.
That was a story that's worthy.
Yes.
Like
big announcements.
James.
Like James Worthy. We got big announcements, but first mostly, we're broadcasting live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. After the show, podcasts go up. If you miss any of today's show, if you're getting out of the car, you're going somewhere, just check the podcast later on. Search Covino and Rich wherever you get your podcast, C-O-V-I-N-O, Covino and Rich. And be sure to follow, rate, and review. And our bonus pod premieres 2 hours from now on Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page.
I was also going to say wave at the camera right now.
Hi!
Because we also are streaming live on the Fox Sports Radio YouTube page right now.
You know, I'm going through all old home videos.
You look a little thick on camera today.
Do I? Man. Like Thiiicc?
A little thick.
Nice, man. Is it beefy because I'm working out, or is it like 'cause I'm eating too much?
I don't know. God, we used to say Cartman was beefy, right?
But on a Throwback Thursday, before we get into this game, just real quick,
Yeah.
I'm going through home videos, and of course, I'm looking for like all my Little League home runs. None of that was documented ever. But every time I have the camcorder out, the reaction always is, get that thing out of my face. Like, you're just a little kid trying to capture a moment. And that was everybody's 80s reaction.
I don't know why that was. Like, no.
Get that out of my face. What are you doing? Get it out of my face.
Well, people like to say that back in the day, you were the Mexican Adam Goldberg, right?
I was, yeah. But that was the reaction you got way back when. So anyway.
Why is that? I agree.
I don't know.
Even today, if you were to go around like at a party with your phone, like, hey, we're celebrating.
Hey,
there's
stop.
always a
Beat
couple
it.
always a couple people that are like,
Because it was so new, I guess, at the time. Like, what are you doing? Making movies? Get out of my face with that. I don't know. So now we're used to it. We're conditioned. Everyone had their camera out last night waiting to see the Knicks win. Not what happened.
Nope.
So my first question is, are we prisoners of the moment, as Danny G likes to say?
hi, Danny G.
Or was that – what up, Danny G? Danny G's on the phones at 877-99 on Fox. He was on the edge of his seat watching this game last night like everybody else. It was set up for the Knicks to win. They were up by 18 in the fourth.
I'm not going to lie. At that moment when they were up about 18, I went outside to start trimming my rose bushes and, do the dad thing.
You sure you want to admit that?
You do the dad thing where you're like,
You realize you're on the
Rich,
radio, right?
Yeah, Rich, can you make us sound a little cooler?
Yeah,
no,
the dad thing would tell your little nose-picking kids to go do that while dad finishes the game.
making sure there were no weeds sticking out of the cement.
I think it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with yard work, trimming up the flowers. I am right there with
Plant
you.
daddy. Let's go. Maybe
Fourth quarter, Dan.
Sorry that you don't have the curb appeal my house has.
No, say you did it after
Curb
the
appeal.
game was completely over.
No,
Rich got the herb appeal.
when they were up 18, I'm like, all right, I could go take out the recycling and check out the garden.
It's getting worse.
And then Danny G.
The garden was rocking until the very end.
I was worried about the wrong garden, I guess, because I start getting text messages from Danny and Covino like, uh-oh. And as soon as I saw uh-oh, I ran back in the house. I'm like, babe, put the game back on.
With 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Knicks were up 111-94. 111-94. And as we already said, they won 138-135. Halliburton with his hands around his neck. They choked.
Know what I just learned, by the way, in the last couple minutes?
What?
Dan Byers got class. And you two clowns
What are you talking about? We've always known
probably
that.
live like
Hold on.
pigs.
You think that's a compliment? We've always known. You're the last guy to realize it. So if I was Dan Byer, I'd be
You
insulted.
go to Dan Byer's house. I bet you everything's nicely
I
manicured
just
outside.
redid my front lawn. I'll show you pictures during the break.
You know what, Dan? I'm not surprised. I always thought you had class. Rich just figured this out.
The difference, Rich, is he does it in between the big games, not during the game.
okay.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right. So the first question, based on everything we saw, Neesmith lighting it up, 5 3-pointers. You're like, what the hell's happening right now? Was that the craziest doink shot of all time?
Doink.
Or was that just prisoner of the moment reaction? Because when that happened, you were like, no way. And then the crowd got silent. The broadcast got silent. You're like, what is it? Was that a 3? Oh, no. Is that a premature celebration? It got real weird and awkward for a minute because I think nobody really understood what happened. Did the shot go off on time? You didn't know how to react. Prisoner of the moment, was that the wildest shot or doink of all time, or do you have another one that comes to mind?
I don't think I'm being a prisoner of the moment when I say it absolutely was, and I'll tell you why.
That was the wildest ending.
The series of events that led up to it, like it looked like he was driving to the basket, and then it's like, psych, he saw a defender right there in the box, and then he did the little backup, and you're like, oh, what is he trying to be, a hero? And then when it hit, you're like, what?
Not only
first,
that,
when it boinked up,
is it a boink or a doink? I think a boink is what you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, it was a doink.
Yeah, it's a doink, like the clown.
Because Kawhi had the triple doink.
Yes.
So this is competing with that one.
That's the first one that has to come to mind, right? Because it's a recent legendary moment. And
Are you
an
listening?
impactful
What if it's a
moment.
bad doink?
Are you listing your favorite doinks?
Yeah, the
Like-
clown is last on the list.
Dan, was it the Bears, the double doink?
Yes, it was. Cody Parkey, double doink.
Not
Doink,
a good
doink,
doink. Bad
no
doink.
good.
The
Bad
Chiefs had a
doink.
good doink last year. Remember in the playoffs?
Yeah.
They had a couple. They had one against the Raiders, right, too? The Chiefs had a couple doinks, but the Bears one you're speaking about, the doink, no good. The Kawhi, doink,
triple
good.
doink. And again, crucial moment, right?
Oh, what about one of your favorite childhood movies?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
No.
Which one?
Teen Wolf.
Oh, my other favorite movie. Yeah, there was a very famous triple doink. It was like 2.5 doinks, but it was a triple doink to end the game where Teen Wolf himself makes that legendary foul shot while the guy's just standing there under the basket, which never happens.
Can we all agree we love Michael J. Fox and everything about him, except for the fact that his shooting basketball mechanics,
Yeah, they're terrible.
he's like, you know when a little kid pushes with both hands? Like,
He had some decent ball handle, but his shot was weak. But that whole situation was weak, too, because the guy, the nemesis,
Keep your ball handling to yourself.
the nemesis, the bad guy from the bad team, was under the basket, like taunting him.
Like that's how you defend the free throw?
Right,
That's
right.
how you line up?
Yeah, but that was a triple doink. That was like a 2.5 doink if you look back.
You might need to look this one up, but Allen Houston, on the other side, famously for the Knicks, had a game-winning jumper often referred to as the doink winner.
But,
that was
dude,
against the Heat back in 99.
Danny G, we'll open it up to everybody. Prisoner of the moment or not, 877-99 on Fox. Hit us up at Covino and Rich at Fox Sports Radio. When you think of the series of events that led up to this, and again, at the Garden, Eastern Conference Finals, big moment. Like we said, Neesmith hit, 6 of his
6 of 8 in the fourth quarter.
6 of his 8 3-pointers in the fourth. I think he hit 5 in a row at one point. Ended up with 30 points. Halliburton ended up with 31. His foot was just on the line, though. Just on the line, but pushed it to overtime. Yeah. So he said, and I quote him, it was an early celebration, an early celly, meaning he was waiting for the perfect opportunity to bust out the Reggie Miller choking signal and hand gesture. But you know what? It pushed it to overtime, and they ended up winning, so all's fair. He got that off, and he ripped the hearts out of all Knicks fans and the Knicks team. Did you see Brunson at the end of the game at the press conference sitting there like bewildered?
Like a vein was about to pop in his head.
Seriously, he was just sitting there emotionless.
Almost like you wonder, could he recover?
Yeah, it was the weird, and I get it. That was, again, I mean, I've said it a few times in the past few weeks. This was Mola Ram level. Kalima. And Mola Ram just ripped the heart out of all the Knicks fans and stomped all over it. Game 1 at home. Look, it's not over by any means. Even Charles Barkley who has the Pacers winning, says, the Knicks will recover. It's only the first game, but still a game they should have had and has to crush the spirit a little bit. But that doink, let's focus on that shot.
I got more doinks.
That was ridiculous.
More doinks.
Dude, that was the most ridiculous shot ever.
2024.
Okay.
Not this football season. Last football season. And, of course, you're going to say, I remember because I'm a Niners fan. But do you remember when that big comeback against the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game? When the defender ran a little too far, it doinked off of him into the arms of Brandon Ayuk for a touchdown.
That's right.
Doink. What about this one?
That was a good doink.
One of your favorite doinks off the head of Jose Canseco over the fence.
Oh, that's a famous. I don't know if it's the best, but it's a famous doink for sure.
That may
was
be
like
the
a
best
doink.
in baseball history.
Yes, that is
Doink.
such a great one. There was a recent one. I forget who it was, but there was a recent one off the head. And it wasn't a home run, but it was someone got hit right off the head. It was really funny to see.
I mean, David Tyree, was it a doink or just against the helmet? Do you call it?
That was more like a zoinks.
That was
more like a
zoink. Sorry. gotcha.
But
That was more like a yoink grab.
Yoink.
yeah, it was like a bit of a yoink. So where do you rank that? Are we prisoners of the moment, or were you just as bewildered as and befuddled and bemuffled as Brunson and everybody else watching? Because, Rich, you know how they say art imitates life. If they did this in a movie, you would be like, yeah, right, that would never happen. It hit off the rim and bounced so perfectly up, and it felt like it was up there. So it was past the backboard, right? Or am I imagining this now? Past the backboard, it felt like it was so high, and you watched it in slow motion go right in like, zink. That was insane.
It went so high, it left the TV screen. Like it
No,
did.
It
Like it
really,
did.
yeah, like it felt that
It
way.
wasn't even in the camera shot.
I gotta watch it again, Dan, because it was insane to see. Thank you. That was wild.
The way it fell straight down is the way you have to shoot the basketball at an amusement park to win a big stuffed animal.
That happens.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, I don't know if you know, he got a Scooby-Doo.
Afterwards. That happens 1 out of like 10,000 times. A bounce like that, that was insane.
I would say even more than 10,000 because that.
So even though he said it was a premature celebration with the choking Reggie Miller thing, I think it was appropriate because of the moment and that bounce. But yeah, it would have been cooler if he was behind the line.
But if they had lost in overtime,
If they would,
then what would you have been saying right now?
yeah, we would have been laughing at him.
yeah.
They had to win at that
He
point.
wasted the choke.
They had to win, and they did.
Yeah, and then you would have been listing not the greatest doinks of all time, but like the greatest premature celebrations of all time.
Dude, without a doubt, Danny. Yeah, they saved that moment by winning the game for sure. And he admitted, he was a little premature. He was waiting for the perfect moment, thought that was the moment, but his foot was on the line.
Would you call the immaculate reception in the NFL a doink? Because it went off the defender, right? Into the arms
Yeah, I guess it is a
of a
doink.
receiver for the Steelers.
But I think what comes to mind first is
Weren't your
Look, I
Raiders,
just saw it now.
Raiders on the
Yeah.
receiving end of that, Danny?
Some of the players and coaches on the field, Rich, claim that it slightly doinked off the turf.
And Franco Harris for the win.
we all think Kawhi Leonard, though, I think, in recent history with the most famous triple doink.
Because there was also a great overhead
By the way, that was
photograph
3.
of that. You ever see the overhead photograph of Kawhi just sitting there waiting?
Yeah, but there's overhead of this, too. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. That iconic moment where
that
they're all
cool,
sitting there.
Everyone's just watching like
Yeah, they're
as if it
watching
was a
it.
movie. Doink, doink, doink.
Ah, that's insane. Now, does the 3, here's basically the stupid question, I guess, when you really want to break it down. That was a triple doink. And you had everyone there watching. And that's very Teen Wolf-like and movie-like. You're right.
Boing.
Does the triple doink beat out a doink that went straight up and out of the screen, like Dan Byer said?
I think without being a prisoner of the moment, I still think this one.
Yeah, it was wild.
Because the Kawhi was a decent shot, and he just got the role, essentially.
Dude, I started looking around, and I was in a room by myself. Like, I was doing you believe? I'm pointing at the TV like, oh, you believe this?
You were talking to your
And
dog,
I'm talking
Theo.
to myself. Yeah, I'm talking to the dog. But that's one of those moments that whoever's in the room, you're looking at them like, what? Did you see that?
And again, not that the Kawhi shot was perfect, but again, he got the role on like a soft triple doink, like boom, boom,
It
boom.
was amazing.
This
dude.
was
That's
like-
one we're going to see for years to come.
This is like, when you're in the schoolyard and
It was like a circus shot.
Like, you ever see this kid?
Like the Globetrotters couldn't perfect that shot. if
But
they
it
tried.
didn't win at the buzzer the way Kawhi's did.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that is
true.
true.
the difference.
That puts it over the edge.
But
yeah,
you ever see
maybe.
that clip of the kid that threw a ball against a schoolyard wall thousands of times because there was a hole in the wall the size of like the tennis ball?
Yeah,
And then finally, after thousands,
finally made it.
Like, this is like a lot of kids watch Dude
perfect placement.
This is like a Dude Perfect trick shot.
You know, that's actually a great challenge. I would love to see guys like Dude Perfect and see how many times it would take them to recreate that shot.
Off the back of the rim so that it goes directly up in the air. And then in overtime.
And by the way, again, when you watched it in real time, it was sort of confusing. Like that dramatic pause, I was wondering, are the broadcasters letting it breathe for the moment? Like just to hear the crowd roar, but the crowd was silent. And I think they were still trying to figure out
winner
was it a winning shot or not
because of that toe.
But that silence, which was not that long, but in the moment felt like it was like 30 seconds of silence.
You know, I think what else made that shot pretty incredible was the fact that he had to regroup and recover and step back the way he did. And a lot of times when you see an NBA player have to regroup like that, it's almost an air ball that gets shot. And so to see the force that he still got the ball up there and then the ball bounced straight up, that surprised me because the way he looked, I thought, is this going to be an air ball?
And you know what? In any championship moment, playoff moment, you need a little bit of luck. They played big at the end. And again, the series of events that led to that moment, that was a big moment, but you can't sleep on what Nesmith did, hitting all those threes,
and
bro.
some missed free throws that really contribute.
Yeah, exactly. All those moments. You have to imagine that the Pacers' confidence is through the roof.
The reason I knew that the ball left the frame was because I slow-mode the final 3 seconds on my TV, like on the DVR to watch it. And there's a point where Halliburton goes into the lane and then turns around, looks at the clock at the other basket to find out how much time he has, which is now under 2 seconds. Wow. So it's like 1.7 seconds. He then realized instead of just turning around at that point that he has enough time to at least jump and try to get on the other side of the three-point line, then got the shot off with 1 second. There was a fan on the sideline after the ball hit the rim that is like this, his arms in the air. I know you can't see it on the radio, but I'll describe it. And then they immediately go to the top of his head in disgust as the ball goes
Surrender Cobra, right?
Yes.
Now, in overtime, when the Knicks were down by 3, listen, I feel like Brunson and Cat got 2 looks at a 3. It wasn't like, the tightest defense. It was good defense, but don't you feel like Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns both had shots? There were 2 opportunities.
Yes.
It wasn't like, man, there was whatever seconds and they couldn't get a shot off. They had 2 looks, and it just
they had a few looks, but they also played some bad defense.
On the previous possession.
They also were
exactly.
up 1 and had the ball go out of bounds on Brunson's hands after it was deflected by Nembhard. So they were only down 1 at that point. If they keep possession, maybe they get a better shot.
Dude, that game seemed so over to the point where you're right, Rich. I really don't blame you for going outside to trim your rose garden because it seemed over at the Madison Square Garden.
He's not the only one in the country who tuned out with a couple minutes left.
It was almost
you're not
It was
alone.
almost a 20-point game. My kids are eating sloppy joes for dinner.
I get it.
The wife's getting bath time ready, and I'm like, babe, I'm gonna go outside for 5 minutes. Dad needs a breather, so I go outside thinking, I saw the game. I got it.
It's one of those games where you had to keep checking it, though, because, again, and we've talked about this earlier in this NBA season, a 20-point lead in the NBA is not the same that it used to be with all these three-point shots.
When they started hitting those threes, I started getting the nervous farts a little bit. I'm like, oh, man.
At one point, it became suddenly 123 to 118, and that's when I focused in again and sat down to watch.
Oh, I could not believe
I
that.
got to ask this question because this was a trending thing on Twitter and social media today. Are Dallas Cowboys fans thrilled? Are they calling this the redemption, like the curse of Stephen A. Smith for being so hard on Cowboys fans? So are Cowboys fans loving the moment where you get to see Stephen A. all sad about his Knicks? I'd imagine so. The dude comes in with a cowboy hat every time Dallas loses a big game, so I can guarantee
I'm a sad man.
there's got to be some
I'm a
Cowboys fans.
sad man. Yes,
if
Stephen
they
A.
wind
Very
up
sad
losing this series, then I think Cowboys fans will probably revel in it.
And again, what was the old saying? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Oh,
You saw the agony of defeat in that press conference. You saw the Knicks spirits leave their bodies. And that press conference was Les Miserables. Brunson sitting there. And again, wasted performance. Brunson, 43 points. Karl Anthony Towns, 35, I think he had.
by the way, which one of you clowns told me under 28? I believe his name was Steve Covino.
Did I?
Yep.
You sure it was me?
Yeah, we could go back to the
It was.
videotape.
Oh, man. Don't listen to me, bro.
Yeah, I know.
So,
But don't worry. You would have won your draft pick six yesterday if you picked anyone in the over because
It went to
138,
OT, yeah.
135, like every one of the ones we talked about, Danny,
Yep.
over.
I know.
it proved two things. Like Danny G said, in these games, in today's world with threes like that, you can't leave, stick
No.
around. And it proves, again, that basketball is so magical and so great when they're playing at this level in the playoffs. Like, not many things compare to playoff basketball.
Right.
Like, your most casual sports friend.
Then why don't you sing
Is-
your favorite Curtis Blow song?
Which one?
Basketball is my favorite sport.
And you know what?
I love the way you dribble up and down.
It's
the
funny
court.
because who doesn't love to play basketball, right? Love to
Right.
play basketball, and I think everybody loves playoff basketball.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's the regular season that we're so hard on all the time.
Well, if you want to take a look at Las Vegas, where we're going to be in less than a month, we're going to give you details on our big party coming up. Vegas right now says Game 2, Knicks by 5.5, 6 in some places. So
Gotta
there's a sentiment that redemption at the Garden for Game 2, and then it becomes a 5-game series where you give Indiana home court, really. So you split at home. Now you, as a Knicks fan or supporter out there, would have to hope you steal one in Indiana and you go to Game 5, 2-2. But, I mean, we're only one game in, but based on yesterday, I would love to see 7 games. I mean, who wouldn't?
So your reaction, your thoughts, we'll get to your phone calls next, 877-99 on Fox. And still to come, old school when 50 hits. We throw it back on a Thursday. Mommy and Daddy Makeovers is a story in the world of sports that involves Patrick Mahomes. And we got to talk to your boy Juan Soto. Lots to get to today.
More. See you in our next.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking Bo
joking.
Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best.
You were dating some girl, and you were like,
Hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense.
her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the fun.
we're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
Yeah.
Go up to a cute girl and say, oh, look at that bozo over there, and I'll point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all show. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct, 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during
can't.
a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable.
Hey.
You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking
joking.
Bo Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best.
You were dating some girl, and you were like,
Hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense.
her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
We're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
Yeah.
Go up to a cute girl and say, oh, look at that bozo over there. And I like point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all so. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct, 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during
can't.
a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable. You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking Bo
joking.
Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best.
You were dating some girl, and you were like,
Hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense.
her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
We're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
We are live from the Fox Sports Radio studio, Covino and Rich. And we throw it back on Thursdays. 20 minutes from now, Old School when 50 hits. We'll be talking old school video games. We'll explain why. So start thinking of your favorites. And call us when we tell you, 877-99 on Fox. And a big announcement a half hour from now. Okay, so we have a big party. We're doing a Fox Sports Radio live broadcast in Vegas. We have all the details, and we want you to be there. This is your invite. Details in a half hour right here on the Covino and Rich show. But the reaction to last night's game, Pacers with a huge win, game 1.
Huge.
Again, stomping on the hearts of the Knicks. And
Huge.
I'm saying it was the best doink shot. You're probably thinking since Kawhi, but I think since Teen Wolf. Since the triple doink in the movie Teen Wolf, Rich. Yeah.
Classic one.
Yeah, you remember that. 1, 2, 3.
80s music. Kick in the 80s music.
And by the way, the random fun fact about the ending of Teen Wolf, not only did Michael J. Fox make the final shot,
This
but
is a fun fact.
There's a dude. Do you know this story?
Yeah, you
So-
told us that you used to pause your VHS tape of this
not
all
true.
the time.
That's not true, but there is a fun fact that, it takes place in a high school in the 80s, and the kid makes the shot. It's a story of puberty, really. That's really what this movie's about. But one of the extras in the gymnasium has his junk out.
Yeah.
Right there.
Undoes his fly.
Undoes the fly, has his junk out right there.
What's the timestamp, Covino?
Oh, Camino has it at 1:43 into the movie.
Yeah, I have it memorized.
But no,
but yeah, it's one of those infamous sort of moments.
There's 2 Michael J. Fox random moments like that. The junk shot at the end of Teen Wolf,
Which
where
is
there's-
true, by the way.
There's
It's
a
a true
guy in
story.
there.
Did you say
there's a-
jump shot or junk shot?
Junk shot.
I know,
He
I was trying
makes
to-
a foul shot, but there's a guy with a junk shot in the background.
Junk shot
I don't
and
know,
jump shot.
I don't know what was less impressive, the junk shot or his jump shot.
Yeah.
And then if you watch Back to the Future 3, which many say is the worst
It's
one, but
the
still
weakest one.
enjoyable.
I like it. It's good. It's different.
You're a
'Cause
big fan. You're a big fan of Mad Dog Tannen, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Mad Dog 10.
How old was Brett Favre when he was an extra in that movie?
Oh, stop it.
Good one. And that man is Brett Favre.
So I was saying, at the end of Back to the Future 3, remember when Doc Emmett Brown rolls up on the train like, Marty, I've turned the train into a time machine.
Yep.
There's a little boy, Emmett's son in the future, like, this is little Emmett.
Some little redheaded Weisenheimer.
There must have been a signal, they say, on the set. Like, if one of the kid actors needs to pee, he just, like, points down to his privates. So in the middle of the scene, Michael J. Fox and Doc Emmett Brown having, like, an emotional moment, and you just see the little kid, like...
If you watch the scene, look it up on YouTube.
They left it in.
You're like, what's that kid doing?
Why is he pointing? What is he doing?
2 random Michael J. Fox moments, but in the movie Teen Wolf, there is a famous triple doink to win the shot. And again, life imitates art imitates life. You think of Kawhi,
Doink!
but that one last night was a circus shot.
You know, we joked about the clown in wrestling.
Yeah.
There was a gimmick, I totally forgot this, where there were 2 doinks.
2 doink the clowns?
Double doink. I'm going to give you a shot at a free coffee right now.
Oh, boy.
That's our usual wager because Covino's a cheapskate. Alex P. Keaton,
Mm-hmm.
Marty McFly,
Mm-hmm.
legendary, Michael
Mhm.
J. Fox. In fact, I'll buy you coffee for a week if you could tell me what his character's name in Teen Wolf was.
I was trying to think about it.
I had to look it up.
What was Francis's name? Chubby or Chunk? Chunky? Chubby? Chubs?
Chunky.
I couldn't think of his name.
I don't think anyone knows.
I could sing you the Teen Wolf cartoon song if you wanted me to. I can't think of the guy's name. Styles was the cool guy.
Styles, yeah.
Styles, right?
But he was Scott Howard.
See, I wouldn't have remembered
Yeah,
that.
that's a tough
I
one.
wouldn't remember that. But are we prisoners of the moment, or was that just insane last night?
I think because of how it doinked, like off the back of the rim, straight up in the air, like as if almost, like remember in Angels in the Outfield when the ball was being carried by Angels into the players'
Yeah.
gloves? I feel like that ball went straight up and like God was a Pacers fan. in that
that's
moment.
the thing. I feel like if it happened on any level,
Wait, is the Pope
you'd be like,
is
that
the
was
Po-
ridiculous.
Is the Pope a Pacers fan? Do we check this?
Yeah.
All right,
See, but I feel like his toe kept it from being the greatest doink of all time.
Had it closed out the game?
Yeah, had it
Okay.
been a 3-pointer to win it, then I think it would have been on the top
fair,
of the list.
Fair point, Danny. Let's go.
JP in Florida says we are forgetting the best triple doink. What's up, JP?
Okay, triple doink. I'm going to go a little off the grid here, and I apologize. I'm going to hit a nerve here. But it's in Japan. One of your favorite people someone knocked out with a triple doink, uppercut, then a left, then a right. Doink, doink, doink.
Are you talking when James Buster Douglas?
Dude, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, we love Mike.
Why would you need to bring that up right now? I was having such a nice day. And not only did it knock out Mike Tyson, he was never the same. He never recovered, and we're all sitting there, mouths wide open, like, holy, what just happened?
It was a boom, boom, boom.
See, those shots are so powerful. I don't look at them as
Yeah, I was
doinks.
going to say, those don't
Those
qualify.
are bombs.
Caleb in Idaho. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? So I got two playoff stats for you regarding the Knicks, and these are from since 1999 when play-by-play tracking started. So teams were 0-944 when trailing by 14 with 2:45 left in the game. And then teams were 0-1,414 by trailing by at least 9 with under a minute left in the game.
All right.
So a literal all-time playoff choke job.
You know what? When you think of those numbers,
on your
that
guys'
probability,
Carl's page this morning.
and then you think about the chances of that shot going in. Like I said, how many times would it take a dude perfect Globetrotter-like moment? How many times do you think it would take to make that shot? That's insane that happened.
Think about if this was the Golden State Warriors down 14 with 3 minutes to go. What does Steve Kerr do? Everybody's pulled because they're old, right? Why have Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler and them run around the floor?
What a great point.
For the final 2 or 3 minutes. But that's not who the Pacers are. So, like, those stats are mind-blowing. But how many times do teams just wave the white flag when they're down by 14 with 3 minutes left or 9 points with a minute left? A lot of times teams are just like, we'll pack it in. And the Pacers not only don't pack it in, they've done it now 3 times, once in each of the series they've been in these playoffs.
I really think we are downplaying Indiana because of they're not. Let's be honest, Indiana, not
We're
the
also
sexiest
caught
team.
up. We're caught up on the Knicks hype too.
Yeah, no
We're
doubt.
talking about all the old school heads. The old heads coming there to support. You know, you're having all this electricity at the Garden. We're from the East Coast, so yeah, we're caught up in that excitement. The Pacers, what they did was insane.
Well, let's go to E-Dog in New York.
What up, E-Dog?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's drunk from yesterday. E-Dog.
I hate to tell you this, but I'm sober for 28 years.
Oh, okay.
And the Knicks aren't. Mazel tov, right?
Hey, that's something to celebrate. Good for you.
Yeah, man. Congrats.
Okay, I'm attending my group anniversary on Friday, and always welcome to go if you're sober.
Happy for you, man.
Gotta be
Thanks for the
sober.
invite.
Gotta be sober.
Man, now
Okay,
I feel way dumb for making a drinking joke. Yeah, jeez.
Also, about these Knicks, listen, they're not done.
No.
They're going to come back in game 2. They're going to score a lot of points. And if the Knicks fall back behind, they can always catch up because that's what they did against Boston. And I hope nobody gets hurt on Indiana, but I'm a Reggie Miller fan too. But I'm glad that the Knicks are going to win game 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're going to win in the 5.
Oh, you're saying a back-end gentleman sweep. Okay.
You know what? You have to.
All right.
Rich, he's just drunk with Knicks enthusiasm.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to imagine that when Brunson was sitting there with his wool cap on, his Scully on, pouting, that in shock, that he's just mentally preparing himself to get mad, get angry, and make sure they win the next game.
By the way, what's the chances I make a drunk joke about a guy that's like, I've been sober for 28 years?
That's just you. You're insensitive.
About 97.3%.
It's just Rich.
You were just
they
like,
call him foot in his mouth Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Old
Not the life of the
Chatterbox
party.
Davis.
Chatterbox Davis. That's
he can't control himself.
Yeah, that's what happens. See? Let's go to our buddy Dan Byer. DB, what's up, buddy?
Hey, DB.
Just like that clip, like, yes, you got a lovely lady there next to you, and then they go to it's the old British clip.
Yes,
and
it's actually a man.
yeah.
I'm a man.
I love that clip, Dan.
Yeah, foot in his mouth Davis.
Tonight, game 2 between the Thunder and Timberwolves is in Oklahoma City, 8:30 Eastern time. Now, the Thunder got to the Western Conference Finals. They're up 1-0, by the way, by beating the Nuggets in 7 games in the Western semis. That Nuggets team, led by interim head coach David Adelman, interim no more. Nuggets gave him the full-time job today. He took over for the fired Michael Malone at the end of the regular season. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals on the ice. Stanley Cup playoffs. Panthers and Canes from Raleigh. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Florida's up 1-0 in that series. Jeff Blashill, the new head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. Yankees top the Rangers today, 1-0. Blue Jays 7-6 winners over the Padres in 11. San Diego has lost 6 in a row. Phillies sweep a series from the Rockies, taking a 4-game set, winning today 2-0 at Coors. And the Angels have just taken a 6-5 lead on the A's with a grand slam in the top of the 7th inning. That's what's going on in day baseball. The Halos, winners of their last 6. The A's have lost 8 in a row. It looked like that streak was coming to an end, but that is not the case. Taylor Ward just hit a grand slam for the Halos, so it's now 6-5 in favor of LA. And the current format for the college football playoff is changing, guys. The top 4 seeds in the rankings will now receive first-round byes, not the 4 highest-rated conference champions. Giants signed 3rd overall pick edge rusher Abdul Carter to his rookie deal. Back to you.
Who's pitching for the Angels? Mel Clark. Angels in the outfield reference, Covino. You said you're too cool to watch that movie, right?
Tony Danza?
Tony Danza, remember?
Ayo. Oh, hey. Even I've never seen that one. Even Tony Danza never
Has
watched
never
it.
seen Angels in the Outfield. Okay,
I've
fair
never
enough.
seen it. We throw it back on a Thursday, so we go old school when 50 hits, and we're going to discuss some famous arcade games.
Ooh, video games.
Yes.
And, of course, our major announcement, where, when, how you could hang with the Covino and Rich Show. We're going to have so much fun in Vegas, June 20th, 21st, that weekend. Details for that within the half hour, and, of course, we go old school, so hang tight. More Covino and Rich next.